Hi guys! Today we're going to look at how to make a game object rotate to face the direction it's moving in. We'll start with this scene that has a character that responds to player input and moves around the scene. We created this in our 2D top-down shooter series, so take a look if you want to know how it was done. Alternatively, you can download this project by supporting us on Patreon. All the relevant links can be found in the description. Okay, at the moment the character always faces to the right, regardless of the direction it's moving. We're going to make a change to the script to fix this, but before we do, we're going to rotate the sprite we're using for the player. The maths we're going to use for the rotation will be easier if the player sprite is facing upwards rather than to the right. There are two ways we could do this. We could open a photo editing application and rotate the underlying sprite image. The other way is to rotate it in Unity, and that's the route we're going to take. We'll right-click on the player in the hierarchy. Then we'll add an empty child object. We'll call this Graphics. What we're going to do is move the sprite renderer to this child object. That way we can rotate the graphics without changing the rotation of the actual player object. We'll select the player in the hierarchy. Then we'll click the three dots next to the sprite renderer component and select Copy Component. We'll click the three dots again and select Remove Component. Now the player sprite has disappeared from the scene. To add it back in, we'll select the child graphics object. We'll click Add Component and add a sprite renderer. Then we'll click the three dots and select Paste Component Values. Now the scene looks the same as it did before. The difference is that we can now rotate the graphics relative to the parent player object. We'll set the rotation on the Z-axis to 90 degrees. Now the player sprite is facing upwards. Next, we'll go to the player movement script to make the player rotate in the direction of the movement. At the moment, we're capturing the movement input value whenever it changes. Then we're applying some smoothing so that the movement doesn't stop and start too suddenly. Finally, we're setting the velocity using the smooth movement input value and the desired speed. Before we add the rotation code, let's extract the movement logic into its own method. We'll select these lines. Then we'll right-click and select Quick Actions and Refactorings. From here, we'll select Extract Method. We'll name this Set Player Velocity. By splitting the script up like this into clearly named methods, it will make it easier to understand as we add more functionality. Okay, let's move on to the rotation code. We want to be able to control the speed of rotation, so we'll add a private float field at the top called Rotation Speed. We'll add the serialized field attribute so that we can set the value from Unity. Next, we'll add a private method to handle the rotation. We'll name this Rotate in Direction of Input. The first thing we'll do in here is check if there's any movement input. We can do this by checking if the movement input value is not equal to vector 2, 0. If it's moving, we want to make the player rotate towards the movement direction. To do this, we need to get the desired target rotation. We'll store this in a quaternion variable, which is a type specifically for storing rotations. We can then use the quaternion lookRotation method to create a rotation looking in the desired direction. We need to supply two vectors to this method. The first is the desired forward direction. This isn't really relevant when making 2D games. In 2D we have up and down and left and right. Forward and back come into play when developing 3D games. So we'll just pass in transform.forward to keep it at the current value. The next parameter is the desired up direction. As we change the sprite to be facing up, we can set this to the direction the player is moving. For this, we'll use the smooth movement input value. Now we have the target rotation, we can rotate towards it. We'll create another quaternion variable for the rotation. Then we'll use the quaternion rotate towards method. We want the from parameter to be the current rotation, so we'll use transform.rotation. For the target, we'll use the target rotation we just calculated. Finally, we need to specify the amount of degrees to rotate in this frame. For this, we'll use the rotation speed field. We also need to multiply this by time.delta time. This is the number of seconds that have passed since the last frame. Multiplying by this value ensures the speed is the same regardless of the frame rate. Now we have the rotation calculated, we need to apply it to the rigid body. We can do this using the move rotation method. That's it for this method. We just need to make sure we call it in the fixed update method. Let's save the script and switch back to Unity. We'll select the player in the hierarchy. Then we'll set the rotation speed to 720. Let's press play to try it out. Now the player rotates towards the direction it's moving. Okay, that covers everything for this video. In the next video in this series, we'll add an enemy with some basic AI that chases the player if they get too close. If you want to be alerted when this one is out, then subscribe and click the bell icon. If you have any questions or feedback on this video, then please let us know in the comments. A big thank you to all our patrons, we really appreciate you helping to support the channel. If you'd like to help and also get access to the source code, you can find details in the description. Thanks guys!